Good evening, friends. I am Dr. B. Narayan Nayak, Senior Consultant Pediatrician, General Hospital, Kasaragod, and Coordinator of COVID-19 Training Team, EH Kasaragod. We have the privilege to give training to nearly 600 uh, doctors, staff, nursing staff, and ambulance drivers, cleaning staff, uh, ASHA workers, municipal staff, canteen workers, and also we had privilege to conduct Zoom training to IMA doctors, IAP doctors, referral institution doctors, police personnel, and also we have conducted Zoom training to interns and other nursing staff of DY Patil Medical College, Nerul, Mumbai. Today we are going to discuss about the guidelines of OPD practice for doctors in present COVID scenario. As all of you know, the clinical disease termed COVID-19 is caused by novel beta coronavirus, now named SARS coronavirus 2. The SARS coronavirus 2 is the seventh coronavirus known to infection human beings. Was declared a global pandemic by WHO on March 11, 2020. Route of transmission, as all of you know, primary route for the spread of COVID-19 is thought to be through aerosolized droplets expelled during coughing, sneezing, or breathing. And also there is fecal oral transmission also reported in few cases. What is confirmed COVID case? Its confirmed COVID case is a person with a laboratory confirmation of COVID-19 infection, irrespective of clinical signs and symptoms. During COVID-19 scenario, it is better to avoid practicing for doctors and medical staff above the age of 60 years, and also those who have comorbidities like diabetes mellitus, chronic liver disease, heart disease, kidney disease, chronic lung conditions like asthma, COPD, bronchiectasis, and those who have cancer, and those who are on chemotherapy or steroid treatment, and those who are pregnant and still status, it is better to avoid practice. And who are suspects? Symptomatics who have undertaken international travel in the last 28 days, or contacts of laboratory confirmed cases, or contacts of healthcare personnel, or in patients with the severe acute respiratory illness, or fever and cough and or shortness of breath. Patients to be suspected are asymptomatic, direct, and high-risk contacts of a confirmed case should be tested once in between 5th and 14th day after contact. Symptomatic refers to fever and cough and shortness of breath. Direct and high-risk contacts include those who live in the same household with a confirmed case and healthcare worker provider who examined a confirmed case. Directly refer for testing. All those patients with any of these things positive should be referred to a nearby COVID center for testing, government or private diagnostic facility. Government testing facility near to us is General Hospital Kasaragod, District Hospital Kajangad, Family Health Center Utuma. Now we have also established testing centers at Mangalpadi Taluk Hospital, Neeleshwara Taluk Hospital, and some other institutions, Mulyar and all. So you can refer any of these centers for testing. And pregnant and breastfeeding patients, testing to be prioritized if suspicion arises. Currently, there is no data suggestive of viral transmission via the breast milk. However, due to close contact and risk of droplet transmission, breastfeeding should be avoided in COVID-19 confirmed mothers. Whereas COVID-19 confirmed mothers only you have to avoid breastfeeding, but COVID-19 suspects, you wear the mask and give the breast milk. There is no need to discontinue breastfeeding in suspects. Key concepts in this guidelines include limit how germs can enter the facility, and isolate symptomatic patients as soon as possible, protect healthcare workers. Now you can do the triage on phone for your consultation. All patients must be assessed for possible COVID-19 infection and suspects, as mentioned earlier, through phone. If they does not have any of them, call them to your clinic by appointment, keeping the reasonable time between each patient as per your discretion to avoid crowding at the clinic. If any patient seems to be COVID suspect, please refer him to nearby COVID testing center. Avoid routine follow-ups, elective procedures. Triage stations with adequately trained staff should be allotted at the entrance of each healthcare facility. Physical barriers like glass or plastic barriers should be installed at these stations to limit close contact between triage personnel and potentially infectious patients. Use of personal protective equipment PPE is preferred. Restrict OPD time to limited hours. Avoid walk-in patients. All patients only. Avoid relatives as much as possible. Make the patients wait about 1 meter apart and make squares. If patient need to be examined on bed or table, clean it immediately following the examination. Please don't touch any documents of the patient. Just see them from far. May ask patient to click photos and send you in advance. Use new prescriptions for all patients. May have an assistant for the same. While dispensing medicines, prefer no-touch technique with the patient. All patients with respiratory symptoms may to wear a mask in the waiting area, and instructions to be given on cough and sneeze hygiene. Doctors' clinics should be well ventilated and patients should be seated with social distance. The doctor should wear a surgical mask and scrub hands with soap and water and use an alcohol-based disinfectant after each patient interaction. Visual displays to be placed in your clinic. Visual alerts should be posted at the entrance and strategic areas, waiting areas, elevators, and cafeterias. To reinforce both patients and healthcare workers the importance of hand hygiene, respiratory hygiene, and other certificate, you have to display the visual alerts. Now, all medical professionals should stick on to the basics like use only one pen, phone, and water bottle in your clinic. Decontaminate the phone after use and do not touch anything. No watches, no rings, no bangles, no dangling earrings. Hairs tied and cover your head with the cap. Shift to scrubs full sleeves. Wear double glove. Don't use stethoscope. These are not normal times. Wear goggle and mask. Wear footwear which covers foot fully. Plastic or rubber easy to disinfect. Social distancing poorly practiced in hospital. So please practice, give sufficient attention to social distancing. Clean your desk, door knob, computer and workstation. Wash hands after every patient examination and clean your instrument with the sterilium, especially stethoscope to avoid cross-infection. Or you can also use alcohol-based rub to clean the stethoscope. Avoid lifts, closed space, don't touch lift buttons, get them cleaned often, and avoid heavy load at the clinic. Leave all your stethoscope, knee hammer, and other medical stuff in the hospital itself. Don't take it to your home. Decontaminate car handles. While going back to your home, keep things, car keys, pen, sanitizer bottle, phone, etc. in the box outside the house. Wash your hands with the soap and water. You take all your clothes, including innerwear and soap, in a bucket of soap and water and keep outside your house. Then take a head bath with shampoo and body bath with soap. Wash your clothes or put in washing machine with the high temperature settings and dry clothes in direct sunlight. Hand hygiene. All healthcare workers should perform hand hygiene using alcohol-based hand rub minimum for 20 seconds or by washing with soap and water minimum 40 seconds. If hands are visibly soiled, use soap and water for hand wash. Now, after each patient examination, you can use hand rub. There is no need to use gloves because gloves there will be more chance to get infection using gloves. If you use without gloves, that you can use hand rub after examining each patient and keep your hands clean. For foot-operated sanitizers, you should put them outside the elevators, OPDs, cleaning areas, ICUs, and wards. Need for the protective gears for all. Hand hygiene is for all healthcare workers. It is a must. Based upon your role in patient management and duration of exposure with the patient, more than or less than 15 minutes, you have to don the protective gears. Thus, need of protective gears depends upon the place where you are practicing. It is classified in the following slides. The healthcare workers, doctors, nurses in non-aerosol generating procedures, you need only triple layer mask. And if needed, you can use face gear. Pharmacists, drug dispensing use triple layer mask. And healthcare workers, doctors, nurses in the screening area, you have to use N95 mask, goggles, gown, gloves, and also you can use face shield. The healthcare workers and doctors in attending direct contact for more than 15 minutes, you have to wear N95 mask, goggles, gown, gloves, and also you can also use face shield. Here is a diagram which shows first one is non-COVID-19 carrier who is not wearing a mask. Other one is healthy person who is wearing mask. In that scenario, there is a chance of 70% contagion probability to the healthy person. Whereas if the COVID-19 carrier is wearing a mask and healthy person not wearing a mask, there is a chance only 5%. But if both COVID-19 carrier as well as healthy person both wear the mask, then there is a very, very minimal chance, 1.5% chance of getting infection. So it is advised to wear mask by all. And when shifting a patient to other hospital, the protocol is for shifting any suspected or confirmed 19 patients, the following steps must be followed by accompanying healthcare provider. Decontaminate hands, alcohol-based sanitizer or soap. Don't PPE. Inform referral center. In ambulance, use single-use or a single patient-use medical equipment where possible. Use disposable linen if available. Monitor and document vitals and medical management done in ambulance. At the arrival of the referral center, before the patient leaves the ambulance, ensure arrangements are in place for receipt of the patient. Transfer patient to the care of the hospital staff at referral center. After transfer of patient, remove PPE, perform hand hygiene. Before ambulance is used again, we have to be very careful. We have to clean and disinfect it. Using PPE as outlined above should be worn while cleaning. And surfaces, stretchers, chairs, door handles, etc. should be cleaned with a freshly prepared 1% hypochlorite solution or equivalent. Medical equipment should be cleaned as per hospital infection control protocol. Then special precautions to be followed for aerosol generating procedures like include tracheal intubation, non-invasive ventilation, tracheostomy, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, and bronchoscopy are all associated with the increased risk of transmission of COVID-19. Healthcare workers conducting such procedures should be wearing full body PPEs, including N95 particle filtering masks, should be carried out in an adequately ventilated room or in airborne infection isolation rooms, which are negative pressure rooms. And we also have to see the emotional needs of healthcare workers. It must not be ignored. Healthcare workers at the front line COVID-19 are under extreme physical and mental stress. They are physically overworked beyond conceivable limits. They are forced to make tormenting prior decisions, additionally worrying about their own health and the constant anxiety of passing infection onto their families. Suffer from extreme levels of stress, depressive orders, anxiety, insomnia. In our general hospital, we arranged a team of doctors, including a psychiatrist and psychologists and some other doctors who constantly in touch with our patients and healthcare workers and gave them positive energy in all the time when we were treating the COVID positive patients in our hospital. And still that procedure is going on and our team is still working. And decontamination in the hospital is frequency of cleaning of surfaces, high-touch surfaces, disinfection of high-touch surfaces like doorknobs, telephone, bells, bed rails, stair rails, light switches, wall areas around the toilet should be done every 3 to 4 hours. In our hospital, we used to clean high touch areas every 2 hours, as we have the staff who don't EPE for 4 hours in a shift, and in a shift we requested them to do the cleaning of the high touch areas every 2 hours, which they easily do. The low touch surface areas, the cleaning and mopping should be done at least once daily. In the prophylactic drug of healthcare workers, we in our hospital we advised our health workers to take hydroxychloroquine with the prescription of a physician in the hospital, and better to take ECG before taking hydroxychloroquine, and better to avoid hydroxychloroquine for those who are having heart surgery or heart disease or any other problems like retinopathy and all. They have to not advised to take hydroxychloroquine. A dose of hydroxychloroquine is 400 mg BD in the first week and 400 mg OD in our next 7 days. I have completed 7 weeks hydroxychloroquine prophylactic treatment, and I have taken ECG before and after, and my ECG is normal, and I am still continuing hydroxychloroquine for a few more weeks. So it is advisable as per ICMR guidelines also, and there is some controversy, and it is up to you to decide whether to take or not. And if you have any queries regarding COVID-19 or any queries regarding patients of COVID-19, you can always contact with the Corona Control Help Desk of Kasaragod. The following numbers are given there. Let us all together do the social distancing, wear the mask properly, and hand hygiene, frequent hand hygiene. With all these SMS procedures, we will break the chain, and we together control the COVID-19 pandemic in our district, in our state, and in our country. Let us fight together. We will win COVID-19. Thank you very much. Thank you for the patient listening.